The echo of dedication, gifts of the 12 princes. The desert winds held their breath as the newly anointed tabernacle stood in shimmering silence, a sanctuary of gold and fine linen against the harsh wilderness. On that day of consecration, the tribal leaders of Israel stepped forward, their hearts heavy with a shared purpose. They brought 6 massive covered wagons and 12 sturdy oxen to ease the burden of the journey. Moses stood at the entrance, watching as Nahshon, the leader of the tribe of Judah, presented the first of these gifts. This was more than wood and beast. It was the foundation of a nation's mobility, ensuring that the presence of the divine would never be left behind as they marched toward their destiny. Following the wagons came the personal offerings of the leaders, a procession of wealth and devotion that would span 12 days. Nahshon was the first to approach the bronze altar, his hands steady as he bore a silver plate of immense weight and a silver bowl, both overflowing with fine flour kneaded with oil. In his other hand, he carried a small, ornate gold pan, its contents sending a thin, fragrant wisp of incense into the morning air. The priest Eleazar received these treasures with a solemn nod, the polished silver catching the brilliant sun of the Sinai, reflecting the purity of the hearts that offered them. On the second day, the rhythm of the ritual continued with Nethanel, the leader of Issachar. He followed the exact pattern set before him, bringing the same weight of silver and the same precious gold. Each leader understood that in the eyes of the Creator, their devotion was equal, and no tribe was greater than another in their service. Nethanel presented his gifts to Moses, his face etched with the gravity of the moment. The air around the tabernacle grew thick with the scent of spices and the anticipation of a people finally unified under one holy roof. The dedication was not merely one of precious metals, but of life itself. Nethanel and the leaders who followed brought a grand assembly of livestock for the peace offerings: oxen, rams, male goats, and year-old lambs. The lowing of the cattle and the bleating of the sheep filled the courtyard, a living testament to the abundance the desert could not quench. Eleazar guided the animals toward the altar, where the smoke of the burnt offerings began to rise in a steady column toward the heavens. It was a feast of reconciliation, a moment where the physical work of the people met the spiritual fire of their faith. When the 12 days had passed and the last of the gold and silver had been recorded, a profound stillness settled over the camp. Moses stepped alone into the tent of meeting, moving past the heavy veil into the heart of the sanctuary. There, in the intimate darkness, a voice resonated from above the gold-plated mercy seat between the outstretched wings of the 2 cherubim. It was the voice of the Almighty, speaking directly to his servant. The offerings had been accepted. The dedication was complete, and the God of Israel now dwelt among his people, ready to lead them across the sands toward the promised land.